How can you possibly grow a YouTube channel when it feels like you're doing everything right, but nothing is working? I was asking myself the same thing a few years ago. Then I figured out which classes to create and how to actually make a living from YouTube. And that was 4 years ago. And since then, my life has completely changed, all thanks to YouTube. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I get 200,000 plus views on my classes, the exact strategy I use, the way I think about content, and the honest truth about what it actually takes to grow on this platform as a movement teacher. Because nobody really talks about this stuff openly, and I think they really should. Now here's the problem. Most movement teachers want to create something that feels true to them, something that reflects their teaching style, their philosophy, and personality. So they focus entirely on the class itself and not on the packaging. But here's what I had to learn the hard way. If your title and thumbnail aren't giving someone an immediate reason to click, everything else is irrelevant. Right? This is the part that most teachers get stuck on because they're so focused on what's happening inside the video that they're not thinking about what makes a complete stranger decide to click in the first place. Now, here is what I mean. When someone opens YouTube looking for a movement class, they usually don't exactly know what they want, at least not in specific terms. They're not typing in hip opening yoga flow with alternate nostril breathing for stress relief. They're typing in something basic like morning yoga or gentle yoga or a 20-minute full body workout. And if your video doesn't match what someone is looking for in the language they immediately recognize, they're not going to find it. Or if they do find it, they're not going to click on it. Now, I made this mistake for a long time because I was so focused on creating something different that showed who I was that I wasn't thinking about how a complete stranger was going to stumble across my content and understand what they were getting. Now, here is a visual example. I used to present my content like this, with descriptive titles and creative thumbnails. Then I switched to titles and thumbnails that were simpler and easier for a complete stranger to understand what they were actually getting in that class. And once I changed that, the numbers changed with it. Now, what I learned is that the creative style actually created more friction. It isn't immediately obvious what someone is going to get from that class, so it's less likely they will click. Whereas the simple title and thumbnail sets the expectation of the viewer. It's easier for them to understand what they are getting from that class, so it's more likely they will click. And as you can see from how my views have exploded over the years, this strategy does work. Now, I know you might be thinking, those titles are so generic and everybody's posting them, why would I want to copy that? Generic isn't the problem. Unclear is the problem. Because those titles work because people immediately understand what they're going to get, and that clarity is what makes someone click. When two videos are sitting next to each other, and one title is obvious and one requires a second of extra thought, people click the obvious one. That moment of friction where someone is trying to figure out what they're going to get from this class is all it takes to lose them. So yes, you might look at your titles and think they're too simple, but they're actually probably not simple enough. And if you want to do well on YouTube, you have to be willing to package your content in a way that meets people where they are. And for some teachers, that feels like a compromise, like you're dumbing yourself down or losing what makes you you. But you're not. What happens inside your classes is still entirely you, but the way you present it on the outside needs to be immediately understood by someone who has never heard of you. And that's not selling out, that's just understanding how YouTube works. And believe me, the teachers who grow on YouTube are the ones who are strategic about the packaging and completely themselves once they've got someone watching. That's the combination that you want to aim for. So let me walk you through how you can be more strategic with your videos using the 80-20 rule. So this is where each month, 80% of what you post is based on top performing content, and I'll get onto how you can find this in a moment. And the other 20% is experimental, where you are testing out new ideas. So here's what this actually looks like. I post 4 videos a month. 3 of those are evergreen, proven, searchable class types that I know perform well. And the 4th is an experiment. It might be something I haven't tried before, a format I'm curious about, or a style I think could work, but I just haven't tested yet. Now, this helps tunnel growth because 3/4 of what you post is proven, and if you want YouTube to be a source of income, you have to focus on what gets views, But more importantly, if you want to be in this for the long game, and it can be incredibly rewarding if you do, you also need to keep some variety. This is why running these little experiments to find new content that works is so necessary, because it keeps it fun, and because it's only 20% of your output, the experiment is completely low pressure. So if it doesn't land, fine, it was just one video. It doesn't matter because everything's not riding on it. And some of my best performing content started off as experiments. My animal moves yoga, my rhythmic yoga, my fluid flows, I just tried them and they blew up. But they only worked because I had the foundation of evergreen content doing the heavy lifting each month, so I had the freedom to experiment. Now you're probably asking, how do I find what evergreen content I should post? So start by getting clear on who you are as a teacher and who you're actually teaching to. Are you the beginner teacher? Are you the teacher who wants to give people a real challenge? Or do you want to make movement accessible to all bodies? Then go and look at what's being searched for in that space. This is so you can see what people are actually typing into YouTube instead of what you think they're looking for. And this is probably one of the most helpful exercises you can do because it helps you see what real people are searching in their words instead of the way you might be framing it. Because if you can use the exact language your audience is using, chances are your videos will actually get clicks. So here's what you need to do to start winning on YouTube. Number 1, get clear on what kind of teacher you are and who you are teaching to. Number 2, go and do your research. Look at what is ranking in your space. Look at other channels, pay attention to the titles that come up consistently and the view count behind them. This leads us to number 3, which is look for the outliers. These are the types of content that consistently perform, not just on one person's channel, but across multiple channels. Then add these to your evergreen list. The list doesn't need to be huge. You don't need 20 different ideas. 4 to 6 winning class types is enough for you to cycle through without feeling that you're creating these same kinds of classes on repeat. So now you have your 80%. So every month when you're planning classes, go to this list first. And you can just pick those ideas. Remember to keep the packaging as simple as easy for your audience to understand as possible. And remember, what happens inside the class can be completely unique. It's just the packaging that needs to focus on clarity. Then for your 20%, you can do some research to find potential outliers. So these could be more niche or creative classes that have the potential to do well. Apply the same kind of strategy with clear and simple thumbnails and titles, and then run a few tests. If it flops, no worries. If it does well, then amazing. That could be a new evergreen piece of content for you. That is the whole system, and I know it's not complex. You might be surprised, but most things that work aren't complex. Now, if you want help managing the short form side of your content alongside all of this, I have a content system built for exactly that. The link is in the description. Now, I want to be honest with you about something because I think most people in this space won't say it. YouTube is a game, and if you actually want to make money from it, you have to be willing to play it strategically. Because the people who are doing well on this platform aren't just creating whatever they feel like, they are thinking carefully about what content they are going to share, what content is going to reach the broadest audience possible, because that is where numbers are. Here's the reality. If you want to make a decent living from YouTube, you need to be hitting 10,000 plus views per video at a minimum. I remember when I started consistently getting 50K to 100K views, that was when the money really started coming in for me. And to get there, you have to create the kinds of content people are actually looking for. Now, I know that that can feel like you're boxing yourself in, like you've spent years developing your unique style and now YouTube wants to put you in a box. So here's how I think about it. The main channel is where you play the game. That's your commercial content, the classes that are packaged for discoverability, the ones that bring new people in. But that doesn't mean your more niche, more personal creative work has nowhere to go. I actually move that content into my channel membership. And I'm completely transparent with my audience about why. I tell them to make money on YouTube, I have to create certain types of content on the main channel. But the membership is where the more niche stuff lives. And people respect that and they get it. And if they want that, then they go there. So if you have work that doesn't fit the evergreen mold, a membership could be worth exploring. It gives you a place for that content to exist without it having to compete with the algorithm. Now, it's important to mention the long form strategy is just one part of building your channel. Short form is equally as important, and just like long form, it has to be approached strategically. I've created an entire video breaking down the simple system behind how I grew my channel to over 1.3 million subscribers. If you want to understand how that works, go and watch this video next.